guys, Krista from Nintendo here. We're about to kick off a very special speaking session with Eiji Aonuma on The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. Let's go take a look. First, Mr. Aonuma briefly discussed the Wind Waker HD.
Thank you.
So as you probably know, we just had the Wind Waker HD come out at the end of the summer, and this is, the remake of a GameCube title that's more than 10 years old now, but with some of the new features like the Tingle Bottle, where you're able to, upload your messages to Miiverse. I've been reading those every day and just been very pleased by what I see.
Then he dove into A Link Between Worlds.
So this is a game that has a lot of a relationship with A Link to the Past, a title that was brought out more than 20 years ago on the Super Nintendo, but how many people here have played that? And I think you could say that the Zelda from that time served as kind of a starting off point, a jumping off point for the 3D Zelda titles that came after it later. So I think now with A Link Between Worlds we've been able to go back to that original starting off point and kind of try and go in a different direction. Rather than talking about it, or just talking about it, let's actually take a look at some live gameplay. So here you have the rental item shop where right from the beginning of the game you're actually able to rent all of the items. Yeah, so you can rent items and buy them, but if you want to buy them, it costs you a lot of money. Renting them. So the kind of gimmick here is that you have to use Link's wall merging ability to get up to that treasure. So I think you saw that when a Link merges into the wall, it goes into a side view. But if the whole game was just in the side view and then it stayed in that when he went into the wall, it wouldn't really be as interesting. So that's when we came up with the idea that, well, we could have like the normal view of the game be a top view, and then when he uses that ability, switch into that side view to kind of give it something different, give you a different perspective on the world. But taking that Link to the Past world and turning it into real 3D was actually not that simple. If you take a look at this, you can tell what it is, but it's the original bitmap, the original image from A Link to the Past of the Eastern Palace, which is actually where we just were in the game demo. So obviously one of the first things we had to try doing was to take this and turn it into actual 3D, but this was very, very early on in the development, and there weren't any designers yet on the team. So since there was no one else to do it, I just tried to do it myself. So in order to make a 2D image kind of look 3D, we kind of had to show either a little bit more of the front of something or a little bit more of the back. But when you actually make that into real 3D, that becomes kind of exaggerated, and as you can see, everything's a bit slanted. So here's the actual game, an image from the actual game. So everything is kind of leaning backwards. The rupees as well. But this was the kind of thing that we had to do a lot of in order to try to recreate that. So I've never really talked about something like this before something goes on sale, so please try to keep it a secret from all your friends.
Next, Mr. Aonuma debuted a brand new trailer with never-before-seen footage.
I think as many of you know, the Zelda series has a history of having kind of two worlds appear in a game, a kind of front and back, or a light and dark. So, as you probably also know, from A Link to the Past, we had the Dark World, which was kind of, where Ganon himself was sealed away. But this time, the other world is actually different. So as you can tell from this picture, in Hyrule you have Hyrule Castle, but then in Lorule as well, you have Lorule Castle. So as there in Hyrule, you have Princess Zelda, and then Lorule has a princess of their own. Her name is Hilda. But naturally, they're both princesses, and they both have kingdoms, and they're both kind of thinking about their kingdoms, but they also have kind of different desires, different motives, each to their own, and kind of how those interact and perhaps conflict is kind of the way the story develops.
And as the speaking session came to a close, Mr. Aonuma took time to take a few questions from the fans.
I've heard a few reports that you can go through the dungeons in the Link Between Worlds in any order that you want because of the item system. So I was just curious how you can account for like a difficulty curve.
I mean, I think generally you could say that the front, the kind of early half of the game and the latter half of the game are going to have a difference in difficulty. It's going to be more difficult as the game progresses. But I think when you think about what it is that makes it difficult when you have new items in a new dungeon, it's kind of more just the idea that you have a new item that you have to get used to. So even though the items are all, with these dungeons too, even though the items are all available at the beginning, there's going to be new and different things in each dungeon.
Like when Zelda gets really gritty and dark. I'm wondering, I know you produced Wind Waker and this new game, but I wonder if you have any information on Majora's Mask at all, because that was my all-time favorite Zelda game. Please say the remake is on Wii U.
If you play A Link Between the Worlds, you may get an answer of some sort. You might find some information.
The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is out November 22nd. Thanks for watching.